Come on now, fellas! We've got to answer the bell. Now let's go!
Welcome into Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow and Mo Patton on this Friday. Justin, I think you are coming through the computer audio, so just FYI. Hope you guys are having a fantastic, I guess, ending start to the end of your Friday. That's how this works, right? About 2 o'clock, everybody starts shutting it down, right, Mo?
Apparently, everybody, including the internet. So yeah, yeah, it's gonna be one of those days, I guess. So
it's
at
raining.
least it's Friday. Is it?
Well, if it's not, it looks like it could be, which, the internet might get finicky just getting concerned. So
might get or has gotten. Yeah.
You never know. You never know. Well, what a great show we have coming to you. Jeff Hemm's going to join us as he does when the Sounds are on the road on Fridays, and they are up in St. Paul, so he'll be with us at 2:20. Craig Duncan, who I'm not sure exactly how he knows more about horse racing than anybody else we know that was available. So that's the best way to put it. And Colonel Craig is going to join us, talk a little Kentucky Derby, tell you what horses to watch out for this weekend, and he will leave his bias at the door. There may be a little bias involved, so we'll make sure that you know about that.
We'll ask him who could win, and we'll ask him who he hopes will win. How's that?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. And we've got some big stories. Talk a little Braves. Talk about what's going on this weekend. What coaches in SEC football would be most likely to win a fist fight? We might dive into that as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot to get to, and so looking forward to getting this weekend started off right. And of course, we do that by giving you yesterday's scores and the weekend schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
Franklin in baseball, 3-2 winners over Brentwood yesterday. Centennial downs John Overton 14-2. It was Clarksville 16-0 against West Creek, and Clarksville Academy 10-0 against Middle Tennessee Christian. It was Clarksville Northwest 14-4 winners over Kenwood, and Dixon County shuts out Henry County 2-0. Eagleville with a shutout win over Moore County 7-0, and Fairview 8-5 against Harpeth. It was Goodpasture 12, Battleground Academy 0, and Collinwood 12-2 winners over Hampshire. Independence downs Nolensville 3-1. Joe Burns with a 10-7 win over East Robertson. Smyrna with an 11-win victory over Laverne. It was Loretto 17, Lewis County 3, Murfreesboro Central 7, Hillwood 0. Page a 7-0 winner over Lawrence County before falling to Tullahoma 2-1. It was Summit 15-1 winners over Ravenwood. Richland 11-1 against Wayne County. Blackman 5-1 over Rockville. Rossview 1-0 over Clarksville Northeast, and Siegel a 5-4 winner over Oakland. Spring Hill defeated Marshall County 9-3 and then fell to Lincoln County, the hosts, 2-1. With Stewart's Creek 18, Cane Ridge 0, Watertown 2, Smith County 0, Canning County 4, Westmoreland 2, and White House Heritage edging Sycamore 5-4.
In softball action on Thursday, Collinwood eliminated Cullioca 5-1. It was Community with a 17-0 win over Murfreesboro Central. Ensworth down St. Cecilia 18-0. It was Friendship Christian 3, Davidson Academy 1. Goodpasture with a 13-0 win over Middle Tennessee Christian. Hendersonville by a touchdown, 21-14 over McGavock. It was Loretto 9, Zion Christian 1. Summertown with a 6-5 win over McNary Central. Page 14, Tullahoma 2. Independence 12, Ravenwood 2. Wayne County 2, Richland 0. A little bit of an upset in 10-1A. Oakland with a 12-0 win over Rockvale, and Station Camp blanked Hunters Lane 7-0. On the pitch, Blackman defeated Stone Memorial 3-0. It was Hendersonville 2, Gallatin 0. Smyrna with a 2-1. Draw. Hume Fogg blanked Springfield 1-0. Giles County 7, Spring Hill 3. Westmoreland doubled up Whites Creek 4-2. It was Wilson Central 6, Wilson Central 6, Watertown 0, and Franklin County with a 4-0 win over host Columbia Central on senior night.
4-0.
What did I say? Did I say?
You said 4-0. I want to make
No,
sure
it was. I'm sorry. No. It was 5-4.
I just figured you knew something that they didn't.
No.
Okay.
It was Franklin County 5, Columbia Central 4. I misspoke, and I don't know why. Sorry.
All good. College baseball action yesterday. Alabama took out some frustration. Again, Vanderbilt, once again, wrong place, wrong time against Alabama. And they can't catch a break.
Andy's about tired of this. Yeah.
Trevecca takes care of Tiffin in 2, 7-4 and 4-2 yesterday. They played another one today, and they've got another one tomorrow. I don't know what they did earlier today, though. Mid-South Conference Tournament, Cumberland advances with a 12-9 win over Georgetown College. College softball action in the Great Midwest Tournament, Hillsdale defeated Trevecca 2-1 before the losers bracket game between Trevecca and Ohio Dominican went 8 innings. Trevecca with an 8-7 win over Ohio. Do it.
Trevecca with an
8-7 win in 8 innings. A lot of 8s and 7s. I don't know. Mid-South Conference Tournament, Cumberland played Georgetown College in that one as well. They were 7-6 winners in softball. Major League Baseball, Braves double up the Marlins 6-3. Angels 11-7 against the Cardinals. The Rockies 9-6 winners over the Brewers, and the Sounds with a 10-8 win over St. Paul. Mo is struggling. Yep, you're back now.
God. High school baseball today, 4:30. Overton and Brown 12-4A. Sycamore and Harpeth also at 4:30, as are Cane Ridge and Laverne, and Lawrence County and Page. Also at 4:30, Riverdale is at Siegel. Nolensville plays Summit at Independence at 5 o'clock. Marshall County and Spring Hill play at 7 o'clock. Oakland and Blackman. Franklin plays at Centennial. White House Heritage plays at Fairview. Columbia plays host Independence. Smyrna at Stewart's Creek. Saturday baseball, University School of Nashville is at Good Pasture at 11:30, and at a time unknown to us on Saturday, Davidson Academy plays at Middle Tennessee Christian. In
I'm
softball,
assuming there are some district tournaments that will continue play over the weekend.
maybe, maybe not. I think some
Okay.
folks got scared off by the rain, but I mean, consult your local listings.
Okay.
Softball action, 4:30. Pope Prep is at St. Cecilia. At 5 o'clock, Columbia Central is at Summit. Donaldson Christian plays at Columbia Academy. Not sure what time. Today, 4:30, Christ Presbyterian is at Stewart's Creek. At 7, Oakland is at Montgomery Bell Academy. And on Saturday at 7, Liberty Creek is at White House.
College baseball action. Vanderbilt's at Alabama tonight and tomorrow. Tennessee is at Georgia starting tonight. Austin P is at Central Arkansas. Belmont goes to Illinois Chicago. Lipscomb's at home against Kennesaw State. Middle Tennessee State travels out to 18th ranked Dallas Baptist, I believe. They might be 16th. I'm not sure.
Depending
Either
on
way,
who's
they're
ranked
ranked in
you're
the,
looking at.
they're in the top 25. There you
Mhm.
go. Mid-South Conference Tournament. Cumberland takes on Freed Hardeman at 3 o'clock today. And the Junior College TCCAA tournament starts at Vol State today. Or I'm sorry, it starts on Sunday, but there will be a first-round game before we air on Monday at 10 a.m., including Dyersburg and Columbia State. Again, that game is at Vol State, and it'll be at 10 a.m.
College softball this weekend. South Carolina and Tennessee play in Knoxville. Also, Jacksonville State is at Austin P. Belmont goes to Bradley. Middle Tennessee State is out at Denton against North Texas. Lipscomb travels to Conway, Arkansas, taking on Central Arkansas. Morehead State comes to Tennessee State. And in the junior college state tournament again up at Volunteer State on Sunday, the Lady Chargers of Columbia State take on Jackson State. That's a 1:30 start. Motlow and Ball play at 6:30 on Sunday. Major League Baseball series of area interest this weekend. The White Sox are in Cincinnati against the Reds. The Tigers are in St. Louis against the hapless Cardinals. The Brewers travel to San Francisco taking on the Giants. And the Braves will host the Orioles. Is that 3 games or 4?
It's 3.
It's 3 games starting tonight. Minor League Baseball, the Sounds continue their series at St. Paul. That's a 6:37 start tonight, and we'll be talking more about that in the next segment with Jeff Hem, their play-by-play announcer. On the pitch, the Nashville Soccer Club goes to the Chicago Fire. Is that tonight, Chris?
No, it's tomorrow. I'm sorry.
It's tomorrow at 7:30 p.m., and it can be seen on Apple Plus. And that is your rundown. That also marks the longest I have been on the telecast today. So, yay to me.
Yeah, we missed you a little bit in there. So glad that that we got through it.
Yeah.
Couple top stories today. Number one, some transfer portal news as Vol Hoops BJ Edwards has announced he will enter the portal. And I mean, anybody who watched this team can't be shocked by this.
No, not really. Not really. I don't know what the disconnect was between the Tennessee coaching staff and BJ Edwards, but it seemed to be more opportunities for him to get playing time than he did. And I guess he just didn't see himself going through another year of that. Kind of tragic. Area kid, local kid.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate because you just don't know what the reasoning for.
You don't know what the reasoning, but as important, if not more important, who's your point guard?
Zakai Ziegler, I guess.
And if he's not back at the start of the
after that, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he tore his ACL. You can't expect that he's just gonna, be able to play immediately.
I mean, based on when that injury took place,
Right.
it's certainly a question whether or not he's going to be back for the start of the season.
Even
And
start of conference play.
so,
I mean, you're talking about basketball.
yeah. And you're talking about a kid whose game is predicated on his speed and quickness and mobility. I mean, and you're not talking about a post player. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that they had a bunch of guys come in, but I don't think any of them were point guards.
yeah.
So as I look into the transfer portal Google database here, I did see where Hunter Dickinson went from Michigan to Kansas. I thought that was a big get for Kansas.
Yeah, and that's interesting for sure. Ziegler tore his ACL on February 28th. So, I mean, for him to be back by the 1st of November, what's that? That's 8 months. I don't know.
Well, here's the positive to BJ Edwards entering the portal. Tennessee is now at the 13 scholarship limit. They needed somebody to go in to get to the limit. So this helps them out in that regard anyway.
Okay.
That's all I got. Look, I'm just saying if there's a positive, that's the one. I don't see, and maybe I mean I don't see obviously a list of who is on the team as far as what position they likely may play, but I don't know.
It's
So
interesting.
I mean, I hate that because again, like you said, they need a point guard, but anyway, transfer portal these days is a crapshoot. You don't know why players are entering. You don't know why why coaches are getting who they get out of it. It just is what it is.
I mean, do you roll with Meshack again?
Well, even I mean, I guess
I don't think you have much
other
alternatives.
options. Yeah, you don't have a whole lot of options. Maybe
unless somebody's coming.
Well, if they do, they got to get rid of somebody because I'm pretty sure that 13 is without Euros, without Josiah, and without Julian Phillips on the roster.
Fun.
Yeah, it's a mess right now. A lot of folks want to be at Tennessee, but can't keep them all.
There's only room for so many.
There you go.
Well, I'll tell you who don't want to be at Tennessee. Apparently, it's BJ Edwards.
BJ Edwards. Yeah, there you go. Maybe. Anyway, looks like in football that Hugh Freeze may have his guy. Peyton Thorne of Michigan State has said he will play for the Auburn Tigers this year on the gridiron.
I'm sorry, Chris. I was out. Who is it?
Peyton Thorne of Michigan State.
Oh, he was a starter, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
To battle with who? I know TJ Finley tried to go in the. Okay, so how is Thorne? Had Thorne already gone?
Yeah, he was already
the portal?
in. Yeah.
Now, once you go in, you can come out whenever, I guess,
Anytime.
but you have to be in by X.
Correct.
April 30th, I think. Okay. All right. So who else is in the quarterback room at Auburn? Robbie
Ashford is definitely in there. outside of that, I think Calzada transferred out too.
Really?
Yeah.
Missed that one.
So, and then, yeah, Sawyer, Payton, Holden, Gariner, and Mo's gone. All right. This is going to be a fun day. Anyway, Peyton Thorne transferring to Auburn from Michigan State. As he announced today, he was in a quarterback battle with Noah Kim at Michigan State, threw for 6,494 yards, 49 touchdowns in his time in East Lansing, and was very much in the race to win the job in 2023. Of course he was. He was the presumed starter, one would think. But now Michigan State is left with obviously former backup Kim and with Noah Kim and Caton Hauser. Freeze and Auburn have Robbie Ashford and Holden Gariner, who was the number 190 overall prospect of the 2022 class. Seems like
Calzada's at Incarnate Word, by the way.
Yes, that's right. I remember seeing that. So there's probably a two-man race, and just based off what we know, I would think that Peyton Thorne certainly has a very good chance to be the starting quarterback at Auburn University this year.
I thought you liked what you saw out of Robbie during his playing time.
I liked it. I think he got better. I don't think he was, and this is under previous administration.
Mm.
I don't think he was ready to be an NFL or an SEC quarterback. I'm not sure. I think he's very athletic. He doesn't have a super strong arm, and he does tend to pull and run a little bit faster than you would want him to. But then again, that was Auburn's offensive line that wasn't very good either. So maybe that played into it. I think he's good athletically. Again, I saw him in high school. He was a really good high school quarterback, but I don't know that he's ready for, the SEC on a full-time basis, especially based off what we saw against, Alabama last year. And, if you're trying to win SEC championships, you got to base it on what you saw against Alabama. Now, what Peyton Thorne's able to do, I don't know. Obviously they'll get into camp and work that out, but Hugh Freeze has been most successful with guys who are able to be strong in a pocket. I mean, bow type guys. And I feel like Thorne's probably taken some hits over the years at Michigan State. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll be interested. I think he's certainly got an opportunity to win that job. Otherwise, he wouldn't be there. So let's take a break, Mo.
Mm-hmm.
As Jeff Him standing by, we will go to him up in St. Paul. Talk a little Sounds baseball right after this on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back to the Lee Company studio in just a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Attention Tennessee homeowners, we want to buy your house. Hi, we are Real Property Solutions, a local real estate investing group. We pay cash for all types of property, so you walk away with more money in your pocket because we eliminate any fees, closing costs, and commissions. Now the best part, we can buy your house as is, meaning you don't have to do a thing to your property. You get to take what you want, leave what you don't, and don't even worry about cleaning. We close on your timeline, whether that's 7 days or 70 days. Interested in selling? Just give us a call and we'll come out to your property and quote you a cash offer within 24 hours. Please call 615-527-8750. That's 615-527-8750.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. I'm Chris Yow, and I'm normally joined by Mo Patton, but hopefully he's getting his internet situated. I hope, Justin, I hope it has nothing to do with that water he spilled earlier. I don't know if that mini emergency just became a major emergency, but either way, we will get Mo back on here momentarily. Until then, we bring in on the Real Property Solutions hotline, Jeff Him of the Nashville Sounds. Jeff, how are things in St. Paul?
Doing well here, and I can't help but feel offended that right as I'm coming on, Mo decides he just doesn't want to be on the show anymore. I mean, what should I make of that? Like, what? I don't know how else to read that. Is he having quote unquote computer problems? Come on.
That's exactly what it is. They're just, those alleged computer issues. They get you every time, Jeff.
And I know he wouldn't leave the show knowing that Gwinnett is coming in next week. I'm sure the Braves are going to come up in this conversation. Another reason why I'm just shocked Mo decided now would be a good time to have a computer problem.
The Braves never come up in our conversations.
No, not at all. He never wears a Braves hat when he's co-hosting the show. Never.
Almost every time. It's almost nearly a never fail, Jeff. But today we'll talk about, or at least right now, we'll talk about the Nashville Sounds currently holding a 2-1 edge up there in Minnesota, and that's always good. What are things like up there? I know it's probably cold, so it's probably unique in that regard, trying to get back used to some weather. But other than that, it seems like you guys are hitting the ball really well right now.
Yeah, they've had a good series so far. Last night was a wild game, extra inning game that they pulled out with two different comebacks and one in the 10th inning. Tuesday was a day game, and interestingly enough, that was the day so far that had the most what you'd predict to be St. Paul type weather. But the last two nights have been beautiful. And, last night was like mid 70s when the game started. It was great. And tonight should be pretty good. So the weather really, other than that first game, and it was more the wind than the cold, that just played a factor. Every fly ball was an adventure on Tuesday night. Both teams had balls that would be caught in normal conditions that fooled the outfielders. And so the wind was a big factor Tuesday, but really the last two nights, and I think tonight again, should be pretty normalized conditions compared to like what we had last year when we were here. So that part has been good, that it's been a decent week weather-wise. And the team's playing well. There have been a couple of unique storylines this week. A guy up from AA, an infielder named Isaac Collins, who is at AAA for the first time. It just so happens to join the Sounds when they're playing in Isaac's home area of St. Paul. And the Brewers have reliever Gus Varland here on Major League rehab assignment. He's a St. Paul native. So just the way the schedules fall, the luck would have it that those two guys happen to join the team when they're playing in those guys' home area. So that's been an interesting dynamic. And the other thing that just stands out to me with last night in mind, 4-0 deficit early, the team rallies back, takes the lead in the middle innings, falls behind again, and then with 2 outs in the ninth, gets back-to-back run-scoring singles to tie the game. Then they win it with a 2-out base hit in the 10th, or take the lead and then win it, solidifying in the bottom half. When the Sounds win, they win interestingly. It's either a walk-off at home or on the road. It's been with plenty of offense or rallying. Tonight is game number 30. Here's sort of a stat of the day. Tonight is game number 30. The team has 16 wins and only 2 saves. So they either win with a rally, they win with a blowout, or they win with a walk-off. They have not had many traditional leading in the ninth, finish it off, get a save type game. So they usually make it worth the price of admission or tuning in with the way they seem to play.
That is interesting. I don't even know how that's possible. 16 wins and only 2 saves that is something right there.
Yeah, normally if you don't have many saves, you think your team's not very good, so you're not leading very often. This is a pretty good team, and it's just winning without needing to, nail down a close game in the ninth inning. So that part's been interesting.
Speaking of the bullpen, the one game you guys did lose, still got a fantastic effort out of Ethan Small. I think he pitched 3 innings.
Yeah.
And, really helped himself kind of prove that the long relief is a good option for him if necessary for the big club. I think, his versatility has really proven to be something that's going to help him in the long run.
He's been dominant. He's been absolutely dominant. And it's been really fun to watch because he struggled down the stretch last year. And that's why he got moved from the rotation to the bullpen. And I don't know what the Brewers' long-term plan may be. I think what Ethan is doing well right now, whether deep down he wants to start again or maybe he loves relieving, I don't know. I haven't asked him that question specifically, but I think he's doing a good job of just being in the moment and just trying to throw strikes in whatever time he is on the mound. And I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but he felt early in the year, right as the season was getting underway, he felt like he had turned a corner and kind of found something again that got his mechanics back to the dominant pitcher he was in college and what made him a first rounder and what made him get to AAA so quickly in his career. He tried a lot of different things, as he would tell you, last year to get back on track. And I think it got so congested in his mind and with everything that he was trying that he just could not get back on track because he was trying so. His heart was in the right place, trying so frantically to get back to who he was that none of it worked. And then he's got his arm slot back where he wants it. He's just throwing a tremendous amount of strikes. And whenever he's thrown strikes, guys don't hit him. That his fastball changeup combo is so good. I mean, last night, or the other night when he threw, I want to say about 30 pitches or so, in his 3 innings, and he had 6 strikeouts, walked only 1 guy. He only threw, I think, 1 slider. It was just fastball, changeup, back and forth, fastball, changeup.
And it wasn't just that he was getting a lot of swings and misses. He was getting awkward swings. You could tell the batters just could not pick up the difference between the fastball and the changeup. It was as dominant as we've seen Ethan really in the last 2 years. And he had some dominant starts for the Sounds last year, early in the year. I would put what he did the other night in 3 scoreless innings of relief up there as far as maybe the most dominant that I've seen him. So, man, if he's figured things out like it seems like he has, the sky is the limit. And he may not be here long if he can keep up this kind of consistency. The Brewers only have one reliever in their bullpen, Hobie Milner, who's done a great job. This is not like some indictment against Hobie, but most teams in the big leagues, you would think, have more than one lefty. And the Brewers have a pretty good bullpen. They've had some turnover in that bullpen, but they've got a pretty good bullpen. So I'm not predicting any kind of immediate call-up. All I'm saying is with Ethan's pedigree and the stuff that he has, if he's got it figured out again with this kind of command to go with the quality of his pitches, he's a big leaguer, whether that's a starter, reliever, I don't know what long term, but he's just pitching so well right now. And you can't wait to see him on the mound again. And it was just so unpredictable for him late last year that it's just great to see his work having paid off to get this thing figured out, because it's pretty special when he's on, and he was certainly on the other night.
Well, an 0.98 whip and a 136 batting average against, I think both of those are pretty close to, if not leading the team. And so that's what you look for. That's what you got to have out of relievers. And specifically, if that's where he's going to end up, it's pretty tough to beat. So
and changeup. The changeup has been his calling card since he was a teenager. Some guys never get the hang of a changeup. Ethan's had a great changeup for a long time. And he would tell you there were a lot of times late last year he was spiking that pitch. It was a pitch that like had always worked for him, and then all of a sudden was not working, and not only not working, but nowhere near the zone. And he was so frustrated. He threw 15 changeups the other night, and I want to say about 65% of them got swings and misses. Guys just could not touch it. So like I said, if he's figured it out, and maybe he has, it certainly looks like he has, batters are in for some long at-bats or quick at-bats, I guess, depending on 3 strikes and you're out.
Jeff, you kind of touched on it, and I wanted to follow up. Where do you feel like he fits in with the Brewers at this point? I mean, is he fish or fowl? Is he a reliever? Is he a starter? Does it matter?
Well, ultimately, Ethan wants to be in the big leagues. So in that regard, I would say to your point, I don't think he cares. He wants to get to the big leagues. I think what would determine whether he can start again or not, and I tend to be a scout or a pitching coordinator, but I think part of what makes him so tough right now out of the bullpen is, as I was saying to Chris a second ago, the other night, I think he threw 1 slider. It was pretty much fastball changeup. If you're going to be a starter in the big leagues and you're going to face a lineup 2 or 3 times, you need that third pitch. And Ethan has had that third pitch before. I think right now as a reliever, they're so focused on his consistency and his command and the quality of making sure the fastball is on track. Because those first couple outings this year, he was throwing only fastballs. And then when he figured out, all right, that command is good, let's work in the other pitches. And now we're seeing more changeups, and the other night, just the 1 slider. So if he has a few more outings like the other night that start to incorporate the slider along with the fastball and changeup, and the results stay the same, and you're talking about 3 pitches that guys aren't touching, now you're back in that starters conversation to get big league hitters out. And I think that's where, is he a reliever? Is he a starter? I think the Brewers are so happy to see the results they're getting right now from Ethan. My guess would be they're not really worried about the role. They're just excited to have him being so nasty. And then I think a couple of years ago when Aaron Ashby had been a starter, but the Brewers felt like in the short term, the quickest way he could help them was as a reliever. And that's how he got up to the big leagues. I would think if Ethan's going to get called up again at some point in the near future, it would likely be as a reliever for a couple of reasons. And one, like I just described, the fact that he's just got the arsenal going so well, fastball, changeup. But then also the Brewers, if they get Adrian Hauser back soon, like I think they will, they won't have an immediate need for a starting pitcher. And that's the other reason why I think you're comfortable with a guy like Ethan Small out of the bullpen. So there's a lot to that answer. But I think right here and right now, it's just great to see Small dominating and throwing consistent strikes like everybody has known he can, and like what made him the prospect that he's been the last few years.
Speaking with Jeff Him here on the Real Property Solutions hotline. Real Property Solutions will buy your house as is and close on your timeline 7 days or 70. Just give them a call. Jeff, let's talk about this week. Obviously, Gwinnett coming in here. Looks like there's been some moves. Maybe we'll see Travis d'Arnaud. Maybe we won't. He may just get 3 games in Gwinnett this weekend and be done. But looks like Vaughn Grissom will be in tow with the Stripers 1P. What's on tap? Because you guys have some really interesting uniforms coming up next week.
Yeah, and to your point about the Gwinnett team, first of all, I was just looking at some notes too. It sounds like d'Arnaud might have about a week or so of a rehab, which then maybe he would appear in some games for them next week. I don't have to tell you guys, especially with the hat that Mo's got on, he's following it more closely than I am, but there have been some injuries of late for Mo Patton's Atlanta Braves.
And Chris Yow's.
Yeah. Braden Shoemake, I see, is going up. Dylan Dodd went up and he's going back. Now they can get Raisel Iglesias activated. But Mike Soroka's been with Gwinnett, Kyle Wright going down. There's a lot happening right now for what is a good Braves team, and wins and losses wise looks like a fairly thin Gwinnett team. So it'll be interesting to see what they look like next week and how many rehabbers they've got with them when they come in. It's always fun when the Sounds play Gwinnett. Obviously I want the Sounds to win games. It's more fun in my role when they do. And but we don't hide from the fact that there's a high volume of Braves fans in Middle Tennessee. And if Gwinnett being in town is what brings them out, that's fine. We recognize there's lots of reasons why people would want to come out to a game. The other part of your question, Chris, the Sounds are going to they're going to wear special. It's kind of a hybrid of a Sounds jersey and a Brewers powder blue throwback to be the Brewers and Brewskis night on, I want to double check it. I was thinking Tuesday, but I know it's Wednesday. The Sounds will transform into the Nashville Brewskis. So they'll wear Brewers kind of themed Brewskis jerseys. So it's an homage to our parent club and beer making process that goes on in Milwaukee, but also the beverages that one can have in Nashville are aplenty as well. So there's a cool opportunity where fans can get a bundle there you go. You guys are on it. Look at that. $40 for a t-shirt. There'll be a little beer festival going on with some sampling opportunities inside our group area, Hit City Hall along that first base side. And then your ticket comes with that $40 package, and you get the relief pitcher t-shirt, which is very cool. So the Brewers and Brewskis night will be on Wednesday, and the Sounds will wear Nashville Brewskis powder blue jerseys, which are going to be pretty cool. And there's all kinds of merchandise, even if fans don't take advantage of that bundle that was just on the screen. They can go in the pro shop, and there's all kinds of Brewskis Sounds merchandise, whether it's a jersey or a hat or the shirt. The powder blue component will be in full effect in the pro shop. So looking forward to that on Wednesday, among all the other festivities of the homestand.
Mo, you're back. We're glad to have you.
Well, I'm back for now. Enjoy it while it lasts. Who knows? But, I wanted to ask you, Jeff, and you may not be able to answer this, but as you talk about Gwinnett coming into First Horizon Park starting on Tuesday, has there been a notable bump for attendance? I know attendance generally is great whenever the Sounds are at home, but is it notably better against Gwinnett, or has there been anything tracked along those lines?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know the literal answer. My guess is that there are probably some folks who come out to some of those games who seek those games out, whereas I think other times there are other reasons why fans might seek out a particular game. I think I would guess there is at least a small bump. I don't think it's a massive needle mover because, like you said, Sounds have led the minors in attendance the last 2 years. So people are coming out from all facets. But I do think there are probably some Braves fans in Middle Tennessee who if they're going to come to a game or two during the year, they're seeking out the Gwinnett game. And I think that's probably true for some Reds fans with Louisville. We're going to have the Iowa Cubs coming in a couple weeks. I'm sure there are some Cub fans who look at our schedule every spring and see if Iowa is coming in and then pick those games. So I think it moves the needle. I don't think it's the driving force between big crowds next week, but I do think there are probably some fans who make sure that that's the Sounds game they attend and maybe don't come as often as some of the other fans who maybe come to the Gwinnett game, but they also come to this game, that game, and the other game. And, they come 5 or 6 times a year. I mean, most fans, I think, from the Sounds and from the numbers we show are coming anywhere from 1 to 5 times a season. That's why the crowds are so great, because it's a lot of different people every night, not overwhelmingly the same sets of eyes that are in the stadium every night. So I'm sure there are some people who've identified next week as their time or two to come out because Gwinnett is in town, whereas the large majority, I think, they might like that it's Gwinnett if they happen to be a Braves fan, but it's maybe not the driving force that's bringing them out, because they probably come a few other times during the year as well, if that makes sense.
It makes perfectly good sense because it pretty well describes me. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That sounds awfully familiar, as a matter of fact. So
what we try to do, and I know it's cliche, but we want something for everybody. So if you're a Braves fan and you're coming out because Gwinnett's in town, that's great. If you're a fan who's coming out like Chris might for the Friday fireworks, that's great. If you're coming out Tuesday because you can bring your dog, that's great. If you're coming Wednesday because you're curious about the brewskis, that's we want numerous reasons every night why somebody might come out. And I think there are certainly times where the opponent on the field can play a role, like next week, or sometimes a big name on a rehab assignment can move that needle too. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. But, hopefully school not out quite yet, maybe Gwinnett being in, some Braves fans come out, and the Tuesday, Wednesday crowds get a little boost from that. I would imagine our weekend crowd is going to be great next weekend either way, but maybe some of those other nights get boosted by a Gwinnett or a Louisville for Reds fans or Iowa for Cubs fans.
And bottom line is, y'all don't care why they come as long as they come, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, we want something for everybody. And once they're in, we hope they have a good time. And we know the quality of baseball on the field matters. I always tell people, there are probably people coming to a Sounds game who, as they enter the game, maybe don't know the record or they don't know the name of the shortstop. But if the Sounds lose 12-0, they know when they leave, the Sounds didn't play so great. And that does get into the psyche of the mindset for next time. I think that's kind of how it works for some anyway. If they're not the hardest core fan, they're by somewhere along the way that night, they know if the baseball was good. If the Sounds win 10-0, or they make a bunch of diving catches, or they hit a walk-off homer that adds to the fan experience, that plays a role, even if what brought them out on the front end was different than what made them have fun on the back end.
Yeah. Winning cures a lot of ills.
That's right. No. Everybody likes a winner, no matter what level. Everybody wants a winner.
Jeff, as always, we appreciate it. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
Jeff Hill on the Real Property Solutions hotline. 615-527-8750 is the number to call, though. Buy your house as is. No need to clean. Just take what you want and leave what you don't. Talk a little Atlanta Braves on the other side of a break, so stick around here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Back to the Lee Company studio in just a moment.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, total your car, you kill someone.
Walmart Supply Chain is hiring in Lebanon. Earn up to $22.25 an hour when you join our new fulfillment center. Enjoy competitive pay and premium perks, including 100% paid college tuition, 401k match, flexible schedules, a free Walmart Plus membership that includes discounts, and free Paramount Plus, paid time off, and so much more. Fulfilling work starts right here. Text JOIN to 240-240. That's JOIN 240-240 to apply now. I'm so excited about this new show.
Dino Trek is back again this year. It's bigger than we've ever had it before.
When they're about 5 months old, we'll start to see them sticking their head out of the pouch, or you might see a foot come out or a tail.
It's like an Airbnb for Joey's. Now, you're not going to see all three of them together because cats in general don't get along unless it's time to get along, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh,
yeah.
my.
Well, we're 2/3 of the way there. It's animals, nature, and fun. That's what we're all about. But during that time, we hope that you also learn something, that you're inspired to want to learn something.
What's new at the zoo with Jim Bar 2.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
There is nothing better than drinking an ice-cold beverage while taking in a Nashville Sounds baseball game. Hi, I'm Stephanie Miller with Mornings on Main Street. The Nashville Sounds and Main Street Media Television have teamed up to promote Sunday Family Fun Day here at First Horizon Park, each Sunday home game. Just go to your favorite Main Street Media website and click on Sounds Main Street Media Day banner to register to win free tickets. And then we'll see you here at the ballpark.
May 5th, 1935, Babe Ruth went 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout as St. Louis's Dizzy Dean shut out the host Boston Braves. Ruth was lifted in the 7th inning for Joe Maury, who singled in the 8th for one of the Braves' 10 hits in the loss. That was this day in Braves history.
Negative Braves history today. That's okay. Negative Braves history today.
Yeah.
That's okay. Dizzy Dean.
Yeah, you know, anytime you can get Dizzy Dean and Babe Ruth in a Braves history piece, that's a good day. So we'll take that.
Today, the Braves returned Raciel Iglesias from his rehab assignment and reinstated him from the injured list, optioning Dylan Dodd to Gwinnett. Not surprised there. They also recalled Braden Shoemake to Atlanta, and they placed Adrianza on the 10-day IL, backdated to May 2nd with right elbow inflammation. And as we mentioned, Travis d'Arnaud, catcher, will begin his rehab assignment with Gwinnett tonight. So
you mentioned something about Grissom going
Grissom
down.
is still on. Yeah, Grissom's still up. I forgot Adrianza went to the 10-day IL.
Okay, because I thought I had seen all that earlier, and so when you said that, it kind of threw me into a frenzy there. But yeah, it's Adrianza that went on the IL to make room for Shoemake, who is in tonight's starting lineup will make his debut and bat ninth. So
should be interesting. He's been hitting the cover off of it at AAA, and I saw a tweet earlier from one of the podcasts that said he'll make more money this weekend than he did his entire time in minor leagues.
That's awesome. Good
he will
for
make
him.
$200 more this weekend than he made his entire. Now, he signed a $3.1 million signing bonus as the 22nd overall pick in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
But still, he only made $11,400 in his time in the minors. He'll make $11,600 this weekend as a member of the Braves. So that's pretty solid right there, right?
I'm interested. Shoemaking 103 at bats with Gwinnett is hitting 243 with 5 home runs and 7 ribs.
Okay. I mean, what are you interested in?
I'm interested in how 243 is knocking the cover off the ball.
Well, I don't know if you've seen his last 10 games, but he's got an OPS of over 1 and has really come on in the last 2 weeks since Vaughn Grissom has been up. So he's really outplayed himself now that he plays every day. So of course, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to play the two of them at the major league level because that seems to have worked so well.
Well, I mean, there seems to be some anti-Grissom sentiment in some places, and I mean that's fine. You know, it is what it is. So let's take another look at Shoemake. Let's take a look at him during the regular season at the top level and see what it looks like. Maybe his last little bit carries over. I mean, the thing is, right now, neither of them has to contribute offensively.
Yeah, Vaughn Grissom.
It'd be nice if they do, but the way this offense is playing right now, you can stick one of them in at number 9 and just ask them to make the routine plays, which apparently Grissom hasn't been doing quite as much as he should. But
4 errors in 11 games, a negative 0.7 WAR so far in 18 games. 10 for 43 in his last 13 for a 223, no extra base hits, 1 walk, 11 Ks, and a 494 OPS.
All right. So
that's, I mean, again,
when Arcia comes back, they're both going down.
Exactly. And I don't think there's a problem with that. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. We have to remember that Vaughn Grissom is 22 years old and has almost as many at bats at the major league level as he has at the minor league level.
And I think a lot of people are having a tough time remembering that. And I don't know why. I don't know. Well, again, when Arcia gets back, they're both going down and they'll both be where they need to be.
Yeah. So I think this is a fine idea. I think, you know, if you're going to try and figure out who is the shortstop of your future, you got to play both of these guys. You know, I don't think there's any question that there's probably only room for one of them. I mean, long term.
And here's the thing. I think Grissom's perceived versatility both helps and hurts him.
Yeah.
Because Shoemake, I feel like, is a shortstop, or he's, you know, I feel like Shoemake is a shortstop. It's just a matter of where he plays it. I think Grissom has some other opportunities to impact this organization at the major league level besides shortstop. And, you know, at some point, some of those are going to start getting explored, I think. Either left field or DH or something, because I think the perception is beginning to be that he can't play defense at the major league level at shortstop. Whether that's accurate or not, I think, perception is reality, as they say. And I think that is starting to become the perception. So, but like I said, when Arcia gets back, and they're both going to be at Gwinnett, and we'll see how that goes.
My only problem with that is you got to play them both every day.
They're going to have to switch back and forth between second and short, and I would imagine Grissom's going to get some time in left when she makes it short as well. Just
that
because
wouldn't surprise me either.
I think, again, I feel like he's got some more opportunities, and I think left field is one of those until the Braves get a long-term answer out there, or unless they get a long-term answer out there. That's going to be a thought.
Braves again start a 3-game set tonight at home against the Orioles out of Baltimore, which is ironic considering our next guest hailing from Maryland himself. So there's that. Should be an interesting series because Baltimore of this year certainly a little bit of a surprise. So thought you might get a break, but no break indeed this weekend. So should be fun. We're going to take a break. We are, and come back with a little Kentucky Derby talk. So stick around. Colonel Craig Duncan will tell us who's going to win, and then he'll tell you who you should root for. 2 completely different things. Maybe. I don't know. He might tell you the same. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Attention Tennessee homeowners, we want to buy your house. Hi, we are Real Property Solutions, a local real estate investing group. We pay cash for all types of property, so you walk away with more money in your pocket because we eliminate any fees, closing costs, and commissions. Now the best part, we can buy your house as is, meaning you don't have to do a thing to your property. You get to take what you want, leave what you don't, and don't even worry about cleaning. We close on your timeline, whether that's 7 days or 70 days. Interested in selling? Just give us a call and we'll come out to your property and quote you a cash offer within 24 hours. Please call 615-527-8750. That's 615-527-8750.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We're in the Lee Company studio and glad to have you with us as we are getting you ready for the weekend. The weekend ahead is going to be a lot of fun, especially if you are a fan of horse racing, or if you're not a fan of horse racing and you just know people who like to have a good time around the idea of horse racing. And that's always exciting when the Kentucky Derby is taking place. I believe I think NBC announced earlier this month, or maybe late last month, they would have a record like 7.5 hours of coverage of the Kentucky Derby. I don't know how you do it, but hey,
for a 5-minute race,
2 minutes.
Oh, well, okay.
Most exciting 2 minutes in sports.
Yeah. I could not remember the saying because I would certainly at best fall into that second group of people that you described there. I'm
I just
not
want to
horse
party.
racing fan, and so I'm kind of horse racing adjacent, I guess, at best.
And around 6 o'clock tomorrow, they will open the gates for the 149th running of said Derby.
That's 6 a.m., right?
If only it were.
No, seriously. I mean, what time is the race?
6 p.m.
I didn't realize it was that late.
It's definitely late.
6 p.m. Eastern?
No, 6:57 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, it's late. They make you.
Isn't that later than usual?
I don't know. We can ask somebody who might know, and that's Colonel Craig Duncan, who joins us on the Real Property Solutions hotline. Craig, is that normal? 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central?
Little later than normal, but they're getting into that mode. They've been moving it slightly, a few minutes each year. This is the latest it's been, but last year was only about 3 minutes before this. So 6:57 Eastern, 5:57 our time.
Trying to catch the last bit of daylight they can.
That's exactly right. Well, but they're under the lights there at Churchill, so they can actually run at night.
Well, it is.
You don't want those fans. You don't want those fans marinating all day, though, Craig. I mean, there's enough people that will
be. We can't stop them.
There's enough people at Churchill Downs that don't see the race as it is.
There are quite a few.
Or they're wondering why there are 40 horses.
2 things before we get into the Derby, guys. First of all, happy belated birthday, Maurice, a week ago today. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate the thoughts, Craig. That's nice of you.
He said he'll be by for his birthday pour of Rockville.
There's always bourbon over here for your birthday or not.
Well, I appreciate that, and don't say it if you don't mean it.
No, absolutely. And second thing, which of the two of you had the Orioles and Braves both playing above 675 at this time of year?
Well, I had one of them.
Yeah, I don't know.
you're an
I don't know
Oriole
that
fan?
I had either of them. Mo, I mean, heck, as bad as we played last year in the beginning of the year, I didn't know what to expect. So
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it should be a fun series this weekend. It's too bad it's on Derby weekend.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Craig is wearing his curling hat today, and that's important when you think about the horse that Craig will actually be rooting for. Typically, Craig picks a horse, he bets on him, and that's who he roots for. But this year, Craig is going to be a little bit different. You'll be rooting for a horse that maybe necessarily you don't have all of your money on.
No, every penny of my money this year is on Mage. Every single penny.
Wow.
If he doesn't come in first, second, third, or fourth, I don't make a dime. And typically I'll pick 4 horses for the year and I'll bet on them. And I've got a lot more opportunities to win, but I'm betting with the heart this year and not the head. I want to tell you, thank you for the article. My wife owns 3.5% of Mage, and we are all in.
So why Mage? For those who haven't read the article yet.
First of all, one of my favorite horses of all time is Curlin. Curlin came in third in only his third start in the Kentucky Derby and won the Preakness and the Belmont the following 2 races. He went on to become Horse of the Year for 2 straight years and was declared Horse of the Decade last decade. So his baby was named Good Magic, and Good Magic is only 5 years old and had 6 years old and had his very first crop of progeny. And those progeny are racing for the very first time this year. And one of those babies, his name is Mage, M-A-G-E. And he's got a puncher's chance to win the Kentucky Derby, but a very, very strong hand to come in the top 3 or 4. And we're looking forward to it. He's broke slow out of the gate all 3 times that he's raced. And if he can just get a good break today and be in that first group of 5 or 6 people in the first 2 furlongs of the race, he's got a chance to win. So we're all in on Mage.
15-1 odds on Mage, according to
15-1. He'll probably go off at about 12 or 13-1, but he's kind of a wise guy horse. So tomorrow when the gates break open, you'll see he'll be bet down.
Okay. Forte is the favorite at 3-1.
Absolutely.
Angel of Empire and Tap It Trice at 5-1.
Those 3 horses.
Angel of Empire is at 8-1. Tap It Trice is 5-1. So yeah.
Absolutely. And those 3 horses are all champions of their last, Forte is on a 5-race winning streak, while Tap It Trice is on a 4-race win streak. But those 3 horses are definitely the favorite. And we have, being the smart bettor, we have them coming in first and Mage coming in second, and them coming in first and second and Mage coming in third. So got to do that combination. And we're just kind of hoping for the best. But every single one of those, Forte, he lost his very first race. And ever since then, he's never looked back. He just does whatever it takes to win. In fact, he ran down Mage in the Florida Derby and won by 3/4 of a length just 35 days ago. However, I honestly, and I don't like to point fingers and blame somebody, but the jockey made a little too soon move. And if he had just waited a little longer, Mage would have won that race and beat the champion. But to
that point, Craig, there will be a change to the jockey this weekend. A Hall of Famer will be riding atop Mage.
Absolutely. Javier Castellano. He actually was the world champion jockey from 2016 to 2013 to 2017, 5 years in a row. He's starting to get up there in age for a jockey. He's mid-40s. But like you said, Chris, he is known for kind of conserving a little energy in the first part of the race and getting through those first 3 or 4 furlongs and then starting hopefully a well-timed move tomorrow.
Now, outside of Mage, obviously we talked about Forte. Forte is the odds-on favorite to win this thing, but again, you just talked about it. Mage has run right there with him. Now, who are some of the other horses that maybe aren't getting as much play that you think might have an opportunity to spoil some days?
Well, of course, Maurice brought up both the Bluegrass Stakes champion and the Louisiana Derby champion, the Arkansas Derby champion. But Tappet Trice and Angel of Empire have a real strong shot. But there's one other group of horses that are pretty darn good. One by the name of Two Phils, named after some baseball connections out of Chicago. Kingsbarn, who is undefeated, winning the Louisiana Derby, and Reincarnate, who happens to be Mage's brother, in the starting gate right next to him, was the runner-up in the the Santa Anita Derby, and was second in the Santa Anita Derby and won the San Felipe Stakes. He's got a good shot too, by Curlin and Good Magic, and it's going to be a pretty exciting race. So those are about the ones that I expect. We're not going to see any 80-1 bombs like last year. Last year it set up perfectly for Rich Strike because of a sizzling hot pace, because of a Japanese horse that came over that the jockey had just heard over and over and over again. You got to get out on the lead. You got to get out on the lead. And he went so fast that he burned everybody else in the front that was trying to keep up with him up. And Rich Strike closed. That's not going to happen this year. There are 2 Japanese horses in the race, Derma Sotagaki and Mandarin Hero.
You said Domo Arigato?
I'm sorry?
You said Domo Arigato?
Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto.
No, Mr. Roboto? I'm sorry. I got confused.
No, you're right on. I say that all the time. But yeah, he's got out of the 2, he won the United Arab Emirates Derby, UAE Derby out in Dubai, and he won by a mile or 4 furlongs. And he took him gate to wire, but even he won't be out on the lead today. It's going to be a moderate pace, which means typically somebody in the first group of horses or the stalkers right behind will end up winning. If they're in the top 5 or 6 at 6 furlongs, those are the horses that are going to win this race. It won't be somebody that comes from way far back tomorrow.
All right, there you go. That's going to help us out.
Put your money on Mage, just in a couple spots to hedge your bets.
There you go. And so for those who have not seen the Main Street Murray at mainstreetmurray.com, you can find a story on Craig's wife, Melissa, who does own 3.5% of the horse Mage. It's a really interesting story, and I'm glad that I was able to tell it. So again, mainstreetmurray.com for that. Colonel Craig Duncan here with us on the Real Property Solutions Hotline. 615-527-8750 is the number. They'll close on your house in 7 days or 70, and they'll buy it as is. Take what you want, leave what you don't. Don't even have to clean. Sounds like a good deal, doesn't it, Craig?
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a great deal.
He's like, I might be in. Hang on, what was that number again? We appreciate you taking some time with us today. Again, the 149th running of the Kentucky Derby and the Run for the Roses is set for tomorrow, and you can catch it at 5:57 Central Time. Should be a lot of fun. Craig, thanks for taking some time with us. Go Mage, that's right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye now.
All right. Let's take a 1-minute break, Justin, and come back with what we're looking ahead to this weekend and who would win in a fist fight between involving SEC football coaches. Now, I have questions before we get into the answers, so we'll be right back on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. This is Chris Yow with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, 3-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl in Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, getting you ready for this weekend ahead. Again, Kentucky Derby this weekend. A lot of other stuff going on, including the NBA playoffs. And Mo, Max Preps put out a list of players by the state they played high school basketball in that are still alive. Tennessee has one. Do you know who it is?
I do not.
Out of Murray State and Lausanne.
Oh, Cameron Payne?
That's correct.
Okay. Huh. He's with Phoenix, right?
He is with the Phoenix Suns, former first-round pick of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he is still playing. How about this? Alabama actually has 2. I would have never thought Alabama had 2 players playing in the second round of the NBA playoffs.
Is Herb Jones one of them?
No, that's he's at New Orleans.
Okay.
Now J.D. Davidson, who played at Alabama and out of Calhoun, was with the Celtics, and Jamichael Green.
Oh, wow.
Out of Class A St. Jude, plays with the Warriors. So 2 small school guys getting it done. How about that? Don't know if you saw this either. Justin, if you check out my Twitter page, you might see something very unique about Will Levis getting a little acclimated to Nashville and other pro sports teams in the area.
Oh, goodness.
Got a little swag from our friends at the Nashville Predators and Nashville Soccer Club. But his Preds swag is what made me want to throw this up there because, in case you're wondering what number Will Levis might choose.
Maybe we got a little tip there. Huh?
This might be the tip. So Will Levis may be choosing number 8.
Or may have been assigned number 8.
There's that. There is that.
I don't know that he necessarily gets to choose.
I'm really glad that 14 was not the option. It's available. Glad he didn't pick it. So anyway, what else? What are you looking forward to this weekend, man? What have we got? Rain holding off.
Rain holding off. Yeah, because I'm going to be out tomorrow. We've got girls rugby state championship up at Hendersonville. Columbia Central will be taking on Riverdale at 12:30 tomorrow, and I'll be going up for that. So if we're going to get rain, I would just as soon it be either Saturday morning or Saturday evening, but not Saturday midday, because I might melt.
Well, and that's the thing is they're going to play in it.
Yeah.
You think rugby cares?
And I mean, I've not been
rain?
I've not been to this facility, so I don't really know what the layout is, as in whether there's a press box or not.
You might Google Maps it. No, check out the satellite image and see what's what. Maybe that's the key.
I don't think it's going to matter. Is the only thing.
Just get you. You need to get you one of those umbrellas that you put on your head. That way you can still write, but you're covered.
Yeah, it's a thought. That's a thought.
Oh man, well, this weekend should be a lot of fun. As in hopes that district tournaments
stay on track,
get in. Yeah, otherwise, and this has happened. I mean, it's happened before where rain has really pushed us to the limits in district and region baseball, softball tournaments. So be looking forward to seeing how that all shakes out. You sent me a message yesterday and said that we would talk about this today. So let's talk about it, because there's no better way to end a week other than talking about SEC football coaches and fist fights.
At Barrett Salee yesterday afternoon, ranking SE coaches by who would win in a fist fight. Now, clearly Barrett's got too much time on his hands. He's the college football writer for CBS Sports, and
hosts a Sirius XM show as well, I think.
Yeah. Not a whole lot going on in the college football world right now, clearly. Because again, at 2:33 yesterday, this was his post.
I think he did this last year, so he might have just, tweaked it a little.
Maybe.
But his list is interesting. And here's my question before we get into this, because I need to know the answer to this before we discuss it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Are all 14 SEC coaches in a fist fight together? Are we talking like in just like a bar fight, like if you're in a regular normal bar?
I think it's kind of a battle royale type scenario, last man standing kind of thing. I don't know.
Well, then that's important information.
It's not like a bracket, I don't think.
Well, I mean, like, is it the one person that, how would I rank them in terms of who I would choose to be in a bar fight with? Because that makes a difference. If it's a 14-man battle royale, Sam Pittman's not at the top of my list.
Sam Pittman's not at the top of my list. He's not at the top of John Varlas's list either, as he pointed out in reaction to my retweet last night.
Well, but if I need somebody in a bar fight, he's probably up there, because one punch is all it's going to take.
That's my thought, and I think that might have been Barrett's thought as well. I mean, Sam, he's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time. I mean, if Sam hits you right one time, it's all it's going to take, and
he's like the hippo from Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah, so I mean,
he's gonna get tired quick though.
If he has to go very long, it's gonna get rough on him. But I see the theory. My number one is Clark Lee.
Yeah, me too. I think Clark is one. He's intimidating. He looks intimidating. And two, I just feel like he'd scrap.
And here's the thing: his Vanderbilt and MBA background aside, I'd not be shocked if Clark Lee has been in a fist fight.
Yeah, no. Thing is, outside of number 7, I think from 8 down, it's kind of like it's a hodgepodge, because Lane Kiffin's not getting in a fight. Hugh Freeze isn't getting in a fist fight. None of these guys, Brian Kelly, Josh Heupel, Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, Eli Drinkle, none of those guys are going to be involved in a fist fight. So just take them and put them in a hat and draw them out.
So it might just be 1 through 7 then? Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I think Beamer's the one guy who's kind of like, I think Beamer would try to get in a fist fight, but I don't think he would help me win a fist fight. I think he'd get involved. I don't think he'd help. Does that make sense?
I kind of looked at it though as them being in fistfights against each other.
Yeah, see, that's the question that I need the answer to that question.
Yeah, it's kind of a vague list. Maybe you need a little bit more clarification to it to really be able to address it the way you'd like to. But
I might take Kirby Smart, though. He was a headhunter in the defensive backfield.
He's a former defensive back. I think there's something to that.
And
I think Mark Stoops may be about where he should be.
I think Stoops has got a temper. And so I think he'd probably help you for about 10 minutes.
Well, and he's a bourbon guy too.
Yeah, there you go. So
I don't know enough about Zach Arnett to have a feel for him.
That's my big question about Zach. I don't really know. Old Geezer says he likes Billy Napier in the fist fight. Seems like a guy you would get in a bar fight with. Oh, and I fantasized about busting him in the mouth.
Billy Napier does seem like a guy who would get in a bar fight.
Yes, he is. He is very
now. How he would acquit himself in said fight, I don't know.
That's the question, and we don't know the answer to that. But yeah, I'm probably taking Clark Lee. Then after that, Kirby Smart, and then from there, maybe Stoops and Pittman. But if it's a random bar fight, give me Pittman one time.
One punch.
That's all it'll take, and that's all we got for today. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.